Hello, networkers, and welcome back to another episode of Ask a Network Engineer, where I answer one of your questions. And this will be speed round number 8, and I'm going to answer just a few questions today. And what I want to do for my speed rounds is a little different now. I want to focus with my speed rounds with more of question and answers related to advice. A lot of you guys have questions like, what should I do if I'm in this situation? What kind of test should I prepare for, next? So I like to use those for more as the speed rounds and other particular questions for individual episodes that you can search and look at and go, yes, that's something I may want to reference again. Because the hard thing about the speed rounds is, you don't know what topics I'm talking about in those video episodes. So I want to kind of change things up a bit because you guys have been asking a lot of great questions like suggestions for writing a good resume as a network engineer. That's a great one that deserves its own episode, not a speed round episode. Or questions like if you're reading books, how do you basically consolidate what you read into notes? That's another great question that deserves its own episode. And another great question is, how did you measure success at each network engineering level? So again, I was thinking about putting those into speed rounds, but no. That deserves its own episode. So again, for speed rounds moving forward, I want to treat that more as answering advice or next step questions that you guys may have. So let's get started in this video. And the first question is by Muslami, if I pronounced your name. If I didn't, I apologize. And his question is, I have done bachelor's, or he has a bachelor's in petroleum engineering, and there's a lot of crisis going on in the oil industry, and I don't like it. It's kind of boring to me. I just want to know, can I switch my field? Can I get a master's in network engineering? It looks like I have passion in it. So my recommendation, this is only my recommendation or suggestion to you to consider, is that you need to focus on two main aspects if you want to be a network engineer. The first thing is certifications, and the second is gaining job experience that will get you towards being a network engineer. That is really your focus. Don't rely on college being that staple that is going to get you network engineering jobs. I get it. A lot of people who come out of college, they're looking at, oh, maybe I should major in networking. Companies don't care about that. They care about, do you have the job experience? The certifications complements your experience. And college is very expensive. A lot of millennials talk about they have college debt. It's much cheaper to go to a boot camp class, getting hands-on experience, getting them prepared for certifications, and then looking for jobs like technical support or working for companies that are network-centric companies. Like maybe trying to apply for jobs at Cisco or Juniper or Palo Alto Networks. It all depends on your location. That's a big part too. But that would be my recommendation for your next step. And that is, you already have your bachelor's in an engineering type of field. That's fantastic. Now you can do your master's in network engineering. That is definitely your choice and there's nothing wrong with that. But from what I've seen in the field, companies really care about, oh, you're certified and you have experience. Great combination. Focus on that. This next question comes from Kristen, and he says, hi, based on your experience, I have an A plus and a network plus, and I'm going to take my CCNA shortly. I know that networking is what I want to do, and I'm confident in my studies I'm going to pass the CCNA. Good luck. I think you're going to do a good job if you're putting in the work. People around me that work in other areas like Microsoft, Oracle, etc. advise me to go straight into CCNA security as opposed to going for my CCNP. What do you think the next step should be after the CCNA? I've learned a lot about how to approach my career in this field from you. Thank you very much. So let's go ahead and talk about that and give you some of my suggestions. So there's a lot of different things to think about when you're in that situation. What do I do next? And one of the first things is, what is your current level of network engineering experience? What is your current job title? And that's really a big deal because depending on your certifications, it should align with what is your current experience and what your title is. Because what happens is a lot of people may have like their CCIE, for example. I think a few you had questions where you're a CCIE, but you don't have any job experience. That makes it extremely challenging to get a job because, oh, you're CCIE, great. What's your job experience? I don't have any. So you're paper certified and you're pretty much not really considered at that point. That's why it's really best to kind of, as you keep progressing, you want to keep the certifications all on the same track. So for example, if you're starting out, you are a junior network engineer, you're doing basic networking stuff, get your CCNA and anything around that. And then you can start working on your CCNP very slowly. When you get to a mid-level, that means that you are a network engineer, that's your title, or something along those lines. Then you want to hurry up and finish and get your CCNP. Then from there, when you progress and become a senior network engineer, that's where you want to then pursue your CCIE. That's important. So that means that if you are getting your CCNA, that means that you are in the entry level of being a network engineer. Now, if you are still at an entry level, then there's nothing wrong with saying, yes, let me go ahead and get my CCNA in security. It's just one extra test, and it does give you a good foundation of understanding security. It's not practical, but at least it gives you an understanding about security and the components of security. Because I think I mentioned this probably many times before. If you are a network engineering, your base experience is going to be with routing and switching and the basic networking components. You got to know that and master that. But on the outside, the other components that you should definitely learn is security and with data center. Those are strong skills that you do want to have. So the CCNA security will at least give you the fundamentals of security. So there's nothing wrong with that. And again, it's only one extra test. But if you're now at the level that you could become a mid-level network engineer within a year or two, no worries. The CCNP is a series of tests. So one extra test is not going to hold you back. Just know that if you're getting close to that level, you want to start pursuing your CCNP. If you don't see that happening very soon, then you can definitely delay on the CCNP until you become a mid-level engineer. Then that would be the best approach. And very quickly before we move on, there are two quick questions I can quickly answer. One of them is by Ronnie, and he asks, where do you get those cool networking t-shirts and vendor apparel? You can get more information at rodhub.net/shirts. So check it out there. And the other question, which is another question by Muzamu, and he asks, can I get your email? So the best way to contact me is through LinkedIn. So this is my LinkedIn address. It goes to my page. We can connect and I can answer any questions that you may have that you want to have privately outside of this channel. So check out those resources. And the last question that I want to answer today is from Rudy G 2005, and he asks, I've been listening to your advice for about a year, and I've been recently promoted to the network administration department after spending about 4 years in a help desk desktop environment. I have some freedom now, more freedom as opposed to the network or to the help desk environment, and that scares me sometimes. My main role is to maintain the Aruba wireless network, and the network engineer sometimes throws Cisco switch deployments his way to work on. I am one exam away from getting my CCNP in routing and switching. So what advice do you have for me in order to be successful at my new job? First off, congratulations for making that leap and being promoted into the network administration department. And from what you're doing, you are a junior network engineer. You're dealing with the Aruba wireless network. That's a good product. You also are configuring Cisco switches. So what you're doing is what a junior network engineer typically does. So embrace that, put that down in your resume, because that's exactly what your job title is. So in terms of how can you be successful at your new job and your new role? So I recently started doing these videos called Things That I Have Learned growing up as a network engineer. And I talked about company politics, so check that out. But in the last episode, episode 50, I talked about technical and hands-on things that I have learned. So definitely check that out for how you can be successful in your new role. Furthermore, you want to try to gain as much experience as you can with Aruba. Learn that product inside out. Talk to their support team, get documentation, figure out best practices for wireless networks. They will give you all that information because you are a customer, so you should be able to get that and learn from that. Learn everything you can about Aruba. Learn everything about wireless, because that's going to be a very strong thing that you can say that I have wireless experience and this is the things that I have done, the different projects, the different types of tasks. Take full advantage of the equipment and what you are managing. Plus, practice. If you're given a lot of projects for Cisco switch deployments, then you should practice that every single day. Do it at home, have a lab, build it out, and just configure these switches over and over and over again for VLANs, for trunking, for BTP, for spanning tree. Do it again and again and again because that's going to build your confidence. It's going to make you feel comfortable and you'll be more successful with these projects. You want to show that network engineer that's giving you stuff that you can do some of the basic stuff. That's a good thing. You want them to give you the basic stuff like configuring routers or switches, maybe configuring ports to particular VLANs. The more you get involved in that, it's going to grow your experience. And who knows, eventually you will then become a colleague to that network engineer. But the key thing is to practice. And we're done with this episode. So thank you very much for the great questions. I hope that helps. And as always, I want to hear from the rest of you guys. So if you have any questions about being a network engineer, post those questions below in the comments and your question will be answered in a future episode. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. That means a lot. And support us at routhub.net. And until next time, keep networking.